Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to connect a AWS Lightsail instance with a RunCloud account. RunCloud is a server management tool based out in the cloud, and it's subscription based, very similar to ServerPilot. However, a couple of months ago, ServerPilot went down the route of discontinuing their free subscription, and everything is paid. On top of that, it's actually not, they not only charge you by instance, but each app that you install within your instance, they charge you for each app as well, which doesn't make sense to me because I don't really know what ServerPilot does to an app after once it's installed. So, but anyways, that's what they do. A little bit greedy in my opinion, but it is what it is. However, an alternative is RunCloud. RunCloud still has a free option, and I'm going to show you how to create their RunCloud account, connect it to an AWS Lightsail instance, and get your instance up and running. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, well, let's get started. First and foremost, we're going to create an account on RunCloud. So to do that, you need to provide your name, email, password, verify your password, and then I think you have to verify your email. So once you go through those steps, you should be able to log in. And once you log in, you'll be taken to your dashboard. So as you can see here, click on connect a new server and give your server a name. Here I'll pick developer server, and we'll just say AWS Lightsail for the server provider. Now it also needs the IP address. So let's go to Lightsail. Into your Lightsail account. Once you sign in, you should be able to hit create an instance. We'll go ahead and keep all these defaults except for Blueprint. We are going to use Ubuntu. RunCloud does require that you pick Ubuntu and that it's on the 16.04 LTS version. Let's go ahead and click the free one for now. Hit create. So this will spin up an instance. Here it takes about a few minutes, so I'll come back once it's ready to go. Alright, and we have our instance. So before we go back to the RunCloud section, we have a couple of things we have to do here. First, we'll get a static IP address. Click on the instance you want the IP address attached to. Give it a name. I'll just leave the default and hit create. And that gives us one static IP address right here. There's a second item we need to do. Come back to your server, click on networking, and we're going to open up a couple of ports. So first we'll open up the HTTPS port, and then the second port we need is 34, I believe it's 34210. And then we hit save. We got that. Let's go ahead and copy our IP address. Come back here, give our server a name, IP address, which will be this, and then AWS Lightsail instance. And then go ahead and click on connect. Now this will produce a command that we need to run on the server so that it can configure and install the necessary components for this to become a true LAMP stack based server, and also be able to connect to RunCloud so that we can manage portions of it. So let's go ahead and copy the command. We'll go back to our server at AWS Lightsail, and we're going to connect using SSH. That should open up our telnet or SSH session with our AWS Lightsail server, and here we're going to do a command called sudo space su. What this will allow us to do is grant us into the root level permissions or privileges. So once you type in sudo space su, you'll see that our privileges are now based upon root. We're logged in as root. So any commands we run here will be run as root, and which is a requirement for RunCloud. So now we're going to go ahead and click on this clipboard area, paste our command, and then we'll come back here at the command prompt and just hit right click, and that should paste our command onto the prompt window, and hit enter, and that should start the installation process. So it's downloading lots of packages, it's starting to install them. If we come back here to our RunCloud window, in a few seconds this should update and reflect that it's able to see the server, and it will continue configuring the server from here. So I'll leave it at the screen, and we'll come back once it's done at 100%. Alright, well, just about reaching 100%. One thing to note is right up here at the note it says if the installation is stuck at 100%, it's likely that the server port 34210 was not open. So just make sure if you do get that stuck at 100% that your port is open at the firewall. We saw that configuration. But if you're not using AWS Lightsail to do your website hosting, then just make sure your server's firewall has that port open. So once it's all said and done, you'll come to this menu, and you'll have your dashboard here for this server. As you can see, there's a lot of options here. Many of these options will not be accessible on the free plan. For example, you click on server health, and obviously it comes up here and says that this is not part of the free plan. You can upgrade and get access to server health. Similar to that, various services are not available. So we won't be having any access to that. So what we'll do is go back to our web application, or we'll go to the web application menu, and we'll create our web application. So here we can give it a domain name. I'm going to use a domain name that I have just sitting around, and select a PHP version. Nowadays, unless your application can only run on anything below 7.0, you can select these, but it's recommended. So if you're using the latest version of WordPress or Joomla or something like that, likely they all support 7.0 and above. So what I would do is just pick one of these. I'll go with the latest, and then leave. You do get an option here to select a web application stack. You can go with nginx and Apache 2 hybrid, or you can go with the native nginx. So it's up to you if you like one flavor over the other. I'll just leave what was there selected as default, and hit add my web application. And there we are. We're now inside the web application menu. Next thing we're going to do is click on script installer, and this allows us to pick an application or an open source application that can install and configure the application for us by default, and so we don't have to do that manually. So what I'll do here is there are various options that you can install, but the one that just for our demo purposes, we'll install WordPress and hit install, and that will get the WordPress installation downloaded, database created, and also connect the database up with your WordPress installation. So it's all ready to go, and now all we have to do is just log in and start configuring our website. Alright, once it's installed, you should be able to come to type in your domain name and come to the WordPress installation screen. Now, one thing that I did mention to you guys, that the script installer actually sets up the database and connects it to WordPress. It actually doesn't. Come to find out, it actually just installs the WordPress files. So we do need to set up a database and then have it connect to the WordPress installation. So let's go back to our developer server, click on databases, and let's create a database for the WordPress site. And then we'll just do WPDB. I think that should be enough. Here, let's select. I believe we get to select. I guess that's optional. So let's leave what's probably the default. So we'll leave that. Add this database. Oh, it's got to be at least 5 characters. So let's do that. All right, let's go ahead and create a database user and generate a password. Copy this, use a password, and finally attach the user to the database. And now we're set to come back to the WordPress installation screen. Click on select your language, click on continue, and then you're going to come across this screen that will help you connect your database now. So click here. We said it was WPDB 2018. Username was WPDB user. Paste our password and hit submit and run the installation. And now we get to set up our website general settings, create an admin user. So we'll just do admin. Let's go ahead and copy this password, set up an email. Let's see, we don't need a real email here. And then install WordPress. There we go. And if you log in with the username and password that you just created, we're in. So now you can start building your website. And here's your website running on our newly created LAMP stack. So one thing I forgot to mention, a step that likely you should do before you continue setting up your web application or closing this command window here. So the one I wanted to show you was once it's finished installation, it will provide you with the MySQL root password and also the RunCloud username and password. So you want to keep this information, you don't want to lose it. And so what I would do is just take all this information, copy it, and store this in a safe place. So click on copy and go ahead and keep this safe, and then you'll need it in case in the future you need to do any maintenance or log into your RunCloud server as the user RunCloud. So that's what I wanted to show you, and with that, this setup should be complete. Alright guys, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe and click on that bell icon so you get notified when I upload more videos. I have several other videos on AWS Lightsail that I've already created. They range from anywhere from setting up your SSH client, Let's Encrypt SSL certificate for your websites, PHP MyAdmin, and what else was there? And setting up website monitoring. So all of those videos will still be useful for RunCloud as well. So go ahead and view those, and if you have any questions or comments, put them down below. And until next time, thanks for watching.